Islam Makhachev versus Drew Dober has now been announced as in the works for UFC 259 in March, and I'm really looking forward to it if it does end up happening, because I think that is an amazing matchup. The first ranked opponent of Islam Makhachev's career. If he wins this one, then he'll be looking to jump up those rankings. Of course, he was originally supposed to jump up those rankings, or at least get some clout in the division, against Rafael Dos Anjos, who was going to make his 155-pound debut. Dos Anjos, in my opinion, is not going to accept a Makhachev bout now. Maybe he would have to get himself into those rankings, and I actually picked Rafael Dos Anjos to beat Islam Makhachev in that fight. But I feel like now that Rafael Dos Anjos is in the top 5, number 6 in the world, I believe he's in a very good ranking spot for himself. I don't think he's going to be seeing the Makhachev bout in the same way, and it'll be a little bit too much of a risk. So if they do make Makhachev versus Dober next, which is an amazing matchup, by the way, this is my early prediction, some early thoughts on the fight, and also what they should do next with the division, because Michael Chandler won't make up his mind, so I'm going to have to make up his mind for him. Islam Makhachev, Drew Dober, UFC 259. First of all, UFC 259 is stacking up to be one of the best pay-per-views of all time, and I know that gets said quite a bit, but it does need to be mentioned that if this fight goes ahead, it'll be added onto the main card, which already has, perceivably. Miocic versus Ngannou 2 as the main event. Santos versus Rakic on the main card. Cruz versus Kenny also on the main card. Benavidez versus Askarov's on the card. Costa versus Jones is on the card. Uros Medic is on the card as well. If they keep adding fights to this card the way it's going so far, it could be a really good one. Makhachev versus Dober would slot right in there as the feature fight on the main card. I think it would be an amazing time if it does end up happening. I think Makhachev would beat Drew Dober in their fight. I really do. I think it's a good matchup for Islam Makhachev. I think it's an amazing matchup for Islam Makhachev, and very favourable as well, let's not forget, for Islam Makhachev, because Drew Dober, although he is a very good fighter and he's got good stand-up ability, that's what he's got. He's got good stand-up ability. We've seen against guys like Beneil Dariush, and also in the Alexander Hernandez bout as well, and in other fights that he's won anyway, that he can be taken down to the ground. And I think if you can be taken to the ground by Alexander Hernandez, even if you're getting back up after 10 seconds, I don't like that you were able to be taken down in the first place, because if Hernandez can do that to you, Makhachev's going to be able to do that to you, and I think that Makhachev would work a grappling clinic on Drew Dober, who also lost to another grappler in Olivier Aubin-Mercier, and Escudero also submitted him with a choke as well. That was a little bit controversial though. I remember they tried to that was Leandro Silva. They ended up on overturning, but then again, he was in a guillotine choke there, in a dangerous situation. It feels like in the grappling, he seems to have his most issues, and I think Islam Makhachev is smart enough to make that the game plan of the fight, to take this guy down to the ground. If Islam Makhachev stands and trades with Drew Dober, he probably will get KO'd. He got KO'd by Adriano Martins. This isn't the granite chin of Khabib we're talking about here, but Islam Makhachev versus Drew Dober, whoever wins that bout is going to be in a real good place in the lightweight division. I think the winner of that bout between Makhachev and Dober should take on the winner of, and this is another fight that I want to be made around that time, maybe in April or also in March, maybe even on the same card, Kevin Lee versus Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone, still signed by the UFC, I assume. I know he's grappling RDA in December at Submission Underground. I don't know if you guys know about that, but that's coming up soon. That's pretty interesting to me. Kevin Lee versus Donald Cerrone should be the matchup that gets made. If Donald Cerrone's serious about moving back down to lightweight, which it feels like he is, they should definitely make him versus Kevin Lee in March. Give Cerrone some time, give Kevin Lee some time, maybe even at the end of February. I don't know how soon they're looking to get back in there, but I assume that it's going to be within the next 4 months. So let's say April, March, Kevin Lee versus Donald Cerrone. The winner of that one takes on the winner of Makhachev versus Dober, and the winner of all of those at the end, whether it be Lee, Dober, Makhachev or Cerrone, will then get a jump up to some guy in the top 5. Then you're looking at top 2. Then you're looking at title shots for Islam Makhachev. And that's, I'm assuming, what they want to happen to Islam Makhachev. Team Khabib is behind him full force. If Khabib is retiring for good, he said he's going to invest all of his attention in Islam Makhachev, which is a very good thing to have as a fighter coming up, to have the support system of Khabib, one of the best guys or the greatest guy of all time in your division, of the lightweight division. So very good for Islam Makhachev to have that helping hand. I think he will beat Drew Dober, but I do believe that Islam Makhachev will not become champion in the UFC. I don't think he will be. And I know a lot of people are going to probably be somewhat angry about me saying that. There's a weird lump in my beanie, and I don't know what that is, but it's really pissing me off. It's just there. I don't know why that's there. But that's there in my head. I'll take it. Either way, Islam Makhachev will not become champion in the UFC, in my opinion. I just don't see it happening. He hasn't shown the dominance that Khabib showed. Khabib was just ragdolling everyone. Makhachev's having trouble with Tsarukyan. I know Tsarukyan's really good, and I can see Tsarukyan being top 5. I can see Makhachev also being top 5, but he's getting towards the end of his time to really double up on learning in between fights kind of stage. He's 29 years of age, you know? That this isn't the 24-year-old or the 23-year-old. I think Arman Tsarukyan might have been, 22 when he took on Islam Makhachev. He's 24 now, so yes, he probably was about 22 when he took on Islam Makhachev. He's going to be doubling and tripling in skill, and I feel like Islam Makhachev is getting a little bit too close to his prime to make those drastic improvements that I believe he needs. I don't see him beating the top guys of the division. Who knows? Maybe all of the top guys will retire around the same time. I think next year could see the retirement of McGregor. Khabib, of course, retiring this year. Ferguson, Poirier, Gaethje. All of these top guys could be retiring soon. So it could blow open the whole division and give Islam Makhachev that chance to rise to the top. Other than that, I don't see him winning the belt, but I think he will beat Drew Dober with the grappling over 3 rounds to a 30-27 unanimous decision win to Makhachev. Moving on to the lightweight division, though. Michael Chandler needs to make up his mind. That's the one problem right now in the division. I don't know why Michael Chandler's being given this much leeway, because Dana White seems to get angry at fighters for the littlest of things. But all of a sudden, when it's Michael Chandler, he can just do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. It seems very, very strange to me why that's the case. But Michael Chandler needs to make up his mind. I think Michael Chandler has made up his mind for far too long, and I think he needs to jump into action against Rafael Dos Anjos. I was going to say Justin Gaethje, but now I'm against the idea of Justin Gaethje. I don't like that anymore because Chandler's taken too long. I think Justin Gaethje should fight Dan Hooker in February, or on the co-main event of McGregor versus Poirier. Even better. Michael Chandler should look to get in there against Rafael Dos Anjos. Dos Anjos will take that fight if he knows that there's possibly a title elimination bout afterwards in it for him. Another fight that should be made. If Ferguson beats Oliveira, he should fight the winner of McGregor versus Poirier 2. If Oliveira beats Ferguson, give the winner of Gaethje versus Hooker, if it's Gaethje, the title shot against the winner of McGregor versus Poirier. Other than that, I don't want to hear about it. Paul Felder fights Ally Quinta. Kevin Lee fights Donald Cerrone. Beneil Dariush Diego Ferreira winner takes on the winner of Felder versus Ally Quinta, and the winner of that eventual one gets a shot in against a guy in the top 3 eventually. Who knows? Let's make that fight happen. There's a bunch of other guys. Gregor Gillespie needs to decide whether or not he's fishing or he's fighting, because I haven't seen him in a couple of years. That's really kind of annoying me. There's a lot of guys just sitting out on the sidelines right now. I think that we could see Gregor Gillespie versus like a Mateusz Gamrot, just jump him straight to the top. Who knows? Or maybe a Gregor Gillespie versus a Scott Holtzman or a Drakkar Klose, someone along these lines. Alexander Hernandez is probably going to be looking to take on like a Thiago Moises of the division. There's a bunch of top contenders. We've got to find a way to get the Tsarukyan Hakprast winner on track towards those rankings. The Moicano Fiziev winner on track towards those rankings. You've got guys like Brad Riddell coming up the division. Ottoman Izatar's taking on Matt Frevola in January. If he wins that one, he'll be looking to jump up those rankings as well. Bunch of guys in the lightweight division, one of the best divisions in the UFC. At all times, it is one of the best divisions, and nothing really ever comes close to lightweight. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of years. I don't see Makhachev becoming champion, but I do see him beating Drew Dober. And even on the feet, there's something about Islam Makhachev where he's so big for the division, and the grappling threat is always there, that he seems to be able to kind of hang with good strikers on the feet. Like, not the best strikers. And listen, we can go through Makhachev's record. Arman Tsarukyan is a good win, but I think Tsarukyan was a little bit too engaged in the grappling in that Makhachev fight. If he stood up and tried to do some more on the feet, I think he could do a little bit better, but he seemed to want to grapple and test his grappling skill with Makhachev. Either way, you look at some of the wins that Islam Makhachev has: Davey Ramos, Cajun Johnson, Gleason Tebow, Nick Lentz, Chris Wade, Leo Kuntz. Another word that could be described, can be used to describe the rest of those opponents on his resume. A bunch of cunts, I'll be honest with you guys. But these wins, although good recorded guys, Leo Kuntz was 17-1. That's a really good win to have. He lost to Adriano Martins after that, lost some momentum. Nick Lentz, Gleason Tebow at this stage in his career, Cajun Johnson. It just doesn't scream top contender to me. And he's made some of them look close. I think he beats Drew Dober, but probably loses his next fight after that. Let me know what you guys think about Islam Makhachev's career trajectory in the comments below. If you agree with my statement, let me know. If you don't, how far do you think Makishev can go in the lightweight division? Because I don't see him beating the Gaethjes, or the Poiriers, or the McGregors, or the Fergusons. I think Ferguson beats Oliveira this weekend, which could be a good matchup to make. Maybe, oh my god, that could be the next best thing. If we can't get Khabib versus Ferguson, maybe what we'll have to do is end up making just Ferguson versus Makhachev, with Khabib in Makhachev's corner. So Khabib never got to take on Ferguson and make that fight we always wanted. I want it to happen still, by the way. Whether it's an exhibition bout when they're both 60 years of age or not, I need it to happen. They don't get Khabib versus Ferguson, so instead we get Khabib's monster creation. Islam Makhachev with Khabib in his corner, working on all of his skill sets to tell him exactly how to beat Ferguson. If Ferguson's still at the top of the division, or even if Ferguson loses to Oliveira this weekend, if Makhachev wins his next fight, I'm open to a Ferguson bounce back against Makhachev, even though Ferguson's way older, and I would suck to see him continue going, especially if he gets finished quite badly against Oliveira, which I don't see happening. I'm open to an idea of a Ferguson 2-fight skid bounce back against Islam Makhachev International Fight Week. It's the best we've got to Khabib Ferguson, and I feel like we're never going to get to see it officially in the UFC. But as I said, man, do it wherever you can make an island out of, I don't even fucking care, plastic bottles tied together and just put Ferguson and Khabib on it. We need to see them fight at some point in their life. It can be in like a, we can make like a pension home Royal Rumble scenario where we get all of the old fighters that we never got to see face each other eventually match off. Like the UFC just needs to reignite itself after 10 decades, which they'll be dead. Let's just have their corpses go at each other. Let's reanimate their corpses and have them fight each other. I don't care. I want them to fight. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Goodbye. See you later. Makhachev will beat Dober. 30-27. Unanimous decision. Yeah.